Hello, I'm Ian Guest. I'm Head of Marketing here at Modality Systems. I'm here today with Nick Seagrave, who is CTO here at Modality Systems. We're going to talk a little bit about our diagnostic service.
Diagnostics for us has come from actually just listening to customers for the start. So I suppose the why other customers should be bothered, actually this is just being built by us listening to customers and their need to improve the quality and improve the performance of their collaboration service. Obviously mainly for us, that's Skype for Business, but can involve a number of peripheral services around it, looking at the collaboration suite as a whole. So we've listened to customers and they've said, give us a service improvement tool. You know, I need to speak to networks. I need to speak to my end user compute people or my user adoption people. I need to be able to give them advice as to how I can improve or take our service up a notch, get it nearer to that 100%, 10 out of 10 service that these guys are looking for. So we've built a tool around that elevates a lot of data that comes out of Skype for Business and these third-party tools, sliced, diced it, added 10 years of experience in Modality Systems to produce views and analysis that allow people in businesses to then be able to report to the exec, but also then be able to speak to user adoption people and say, why aren't people using it in this way? What's happening? Why are people using bad headsets? So there's so much data that goes out there in a Skype for Business world, and we're presenting that in sort of dashboards and tabs that allow people in companies like these initial companies that came to this problem are now reaping the benefits and reporting back to their execs and back to their business how well they're doing.
So it's collecting data from lots of different sources, it's collating it, and then how's it giving that data then to the end user?
Yeah, so initially all the data goes into a Microsoft database. That's a database that we then extract from and put it into our data warehouse. We streamline that data, make it a lot faster in terms of being able to pivot it and creating sort of SQL cubes. And then through, which has been great for us, PowerBI enables us to take that data and present the views that customers want. And with the power, this layer of Power BI that enables this ability to view data, we don't have to spend lots of time in websites building fancy graphs. That's all done for us actually by the excellence of Power BI. What we really concentrate on is what data with this data is meaningful to the users. Then Power BI gives us that visual interface back to the customer.
So the focus is very much on the data, the knowledge, the insights, very rather than necessarily the front end. But
yes.
You say Power BI. What does Power BI give us that perhaps a web browser service or something like that doesn't?
Well, Power BI is already built with the hooks to say, give me this data, give me this data. I have lots of filters against that. Which way do I want to pivot that? Which way do I want to look at that? Do I want to present that in a graph? And it just becomes clicks and maneuvers rather than actually having to write a lot of code in the background. So it's all done for us. It's an interface with the objects for us already to just select what we want to do, and then we present our visual aid, which is the thing that back to the user that goes, okay, I'll make sense of that data now.
Right. So it's portraying the data in a certain way, and I assume from what you're saying then that that's quite easy to change and modify?
Exactly, yeah. So that, as I say, it's been driven by customers. Now we have monthly service reviews with our customers, and they will come to us and say, actually, I want this view now, or I'm getting an exec who wants this capability. I want a capability to look at all my senior execs in the company in one dashboard to see how they're doing.
Right.
Power BI, within a few hours, we can do that, bit of this, bit of that, and in a few hours come back with a view that suits the customer. So it's very much a two-way thing we're building here with customers and our monthly reviews with them. And then Power BI gives us that flexibility to actually produce that report in a matter of hours.
Okay, so it just gives you the flexibility there of really customising to meet those needs as and when necessary.
Yeah. It's such a fantastic tool, and as I say, we started looking at diagnostics. We looked at websites, but then at the time when Power BI was very much coming to the fore, we chose that path, and it's been a great choice, to tell the truth, in terms of giving us this capability to show what we can do with data rather than what we can show we can do with a nice website.
And it's scalable for large numbers of users.
It's hugely scalable, yeah. And the work we've done in the data warehouse in terms of the amount of data, the gigabytes, terabytes we can put into that, we're able to click through those pages and they're pretty instant in terms of they're coming up. You know, a lot of that database stuff can be a challenge, and you can find yourself clicking on something and taking minutes to refresh. That's a lot of where our work goes.